Good morning. Welcome to Daily Devotions for Monday, December 14th, 2020. Today is a very rainy day, a little bit cold, and it's a Monday. I always think of that old song by the Carpenters, "Rainy days and Mondays always get me down." Well, I can understand that, and certainly our circumstances often can get us down, but the truth that we're looking at in 1 Peter should bring us up, should raise our spirits, should encourage our hearts. And I hope it will today as we look at verse 4 together. It says that we have been born again into a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead. That's the end of verse 3. And then today, into an inheritance that can never perish, spoil, or fade. This inheritance is kept in heaven for you. So yesterday we looked at the nature of that living hope, that there's a present reality to our Christian experience. Today we see that there's also a future hope. And both of these ideas need to be held by Christians. We hold to the present reality so that in the midst of this life we recognize that we're not ultimately overcome or defeated. We're not ultimately down, but we're raised up into a new life through Christ. And so to the end of our days, we can live with hope and with a living reality in our lives. But we also look toward the future, toward the inheritance that we have. And the inheritance is distinguished from this world. This world, we know, and we'll see later in 1 Peter, is filled with suffering, it's filled with challenge, it's filled with difficulty. Even as we saw in the first verse, we are elect, chosen of God, but we are exiles. We live as aliens and strangers in this world. And so the inheritance we look for is a heavenly inheritance that will never perish, spoil, or fade. It will never perish, spoil, or fade. And I see that as connecting to Jesus' words, where he speaks of that which will, the moth will eat, the rust will fade. And so we lay up our treasures not on earth, where thieves break in and steal, where moths eat away, where rust fades. But we lay up our treasures in heaven, where moth and rust do not spoil, thieves do not break in and steal. Our earthly loves are all subject to decay, subject to fade away. And that's a hard reality. We can, by God's grace, enjoy the good gifts he gives, but we need to be careful not to hold to them too tightly because they will fade. What we do need to hold on to tightly is our heavenly inheritance, which will never perish, spoil, or fade. So our attention and focus should be there. I hope that in the middle of this day, rainy day and Monday, whatever kind of day you're going through, that you'll be able to see the blessing that is ahead of you and hold on to it as you go through this life with a living hope. Thanks for watching today.